You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vampire Diaries After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vampire Diaries After Show.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another AfterBuzz TV After Show for The Vampire Diaries, Season 5, Episode 2, True Lies. I'm Kristen Snyder, subbing in for Jessie Jandy, who will be back next week. Sitting next to me, the lovely Tiana Hobson.
Hello, everyone.
Across the table, we have Paige Sullivan and Roxy Striar.
Hi. Good to be back, guys.
Yeah. So last week, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I was slightly disappointed, but this week, everything's amped up. We've got new mysterious travelers in town. I feel like I'm growing to like Jessie, the new Caroline love interest. How did you guys feel about this episode? Did you find it like it was better than last week's, or were you more excited this week?
I think it was more of a one-track thing that I liked about this episode. Last episode just felt all over the place. I think I said that. And this, I felt like now I know who's alive, who's dead, and where they are, and I could focus on it. Last episode, I felt like I was playing catch-up.
I didn't dislike last week's episode. I liked it.
I did too.
It might have just been the fact that I loved the show, so I was happy it was back, so I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. But definitely I thought there was more of a focus this episode. It was easier to follow. We're starting to get a little more answers as opposed to questions that we keep asking. So overall, yeah, I would say it was a good week.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, let's go ahead and get into the episode. So we start with Bonnie, and she's really upset about her father, which Silas used the whole town mind control, and he just killed him in front of everyone. And I mean, she's struggling with, you know, her not being alive anymore. She wants to be with her friends in college. Now she can't help her dad at all. Do you guys think her dad's completely dead? Do you see her like coming back this season?
I think he's dead.
He's dead.
There's no spells to bring him back.
I'm pretty sure. No, I think that it could be interesting, though, how it plays out, because to Silas's knowledge, I mean, let's talk about technicality here for a second. What happened to the body after everybody in the town wasn't allowed to say anything, wasn't allowed to mourn, wasn't allowed to remember? So what happened to the body? Either one of two things. Either Silas got rid of it, or the town's members got rid of it, and
Liz has it.
Caroline's mom has the body.
Okay, so she took the body, and that's how they knew that the body was there. But nobody knows how the body got there because Silas brainwashed everybody. Correct? So Bonnie actually knows, and Bonnie told Jeremy. So now it's going to be out that what Silas did. Of course, people know that Silas is a bad guy, but it's easier to convince people that somebody's doing bad things when they have an agenda of things that they've already done, you know?
Right.
So to get the townspeople to turn against Silas at some point, I think that will be one of the things on the list.
I don't think they can turn against him because of his mind control. Whereas Elena, you know, she had not Stefan, she had Damon there to walk her through getting out of the mind control and what he told her to do. Whereas the rest of the town folk, nobody knows they're brainwashed. Like, none of them know they're brainwashed.
Right.
As of now.
As of now. But I don't know if they have the power to break out of it because they are just humans. They're not supernatural like Elena.
And people don't want them to find out that there's vampires walking around and there's all these mystical things. So how do you explain to someone, hey, you're brainwashed, without revealing the other elements that are going on in Mystic Falls?
I'm really happy, though, that the entire time, like Damon and Catherine and everyone's fighting the entire town now. Like, Silas has somebody on his side. I like that now. And apparently now he's going to have this Nadia girl on his side.
Are you a Silas fan?
No, but...
yeah, right?
No,
Team Silas.
No, but
said no one ever.
Said no one ever. But I am a story fan, and I think that'll add add to the dramatics of the show, because I was kind of in fear that the new spin-off, the originals, they were taking a lot of our strong characters. I was afraid the Vampire Diaries was sort of going to crumble under and fade into the new show, but this episode gave me a lot of hope for the rest of the season that it's not going to be a just Silas storyline, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of sick of Silas. That was all last season. How do you guys feel?
I was more sick of Klaus and everyone. I mean, I love seeing them around, but I was kind of like, how many times is Klaus going to come back and go against his word? I was kind of happy that we're getting, you know, now we're actually getting Silas in the flesh this season. So I think that's going to be great. And then it's great that they have two separate storylines. You know, they have the college storyline, so you have a town up there that with drama and it's bad people up there, and you have the Mystic Falls element too. So
yeah, I agree. I think we are going to, I think Silas is going to stick around for a while. I do not think he's going to drag on the entire season like the originals had when they were on the Vampire Diaries. I think now that we are at Whitmore and we're learning more about Elena's parents, or father at least, and what's going on at that school, it brings in new enemies per se. You know, people who might know about them or want to hurt them, or just we're even getting, you know, gypsies and travelers. We're getting new elements to this show all the time, so I don't think it will just be Silas.
What we like to see is the fact that not everybody has to be an enemy, but we need to have prospects. Like you're saying, we're getting new gypsies, there's new characters. We don't know exactly the new friends or enemies that they're making at the college, what they are yet, but it's the fact that it's keeping us on our toes. And we don't know whether Jesse is good or bad. We don't know whether the professor is good or bad. We don't know whether the gypsies, I mean, one of them's one thing and one's another. So I think as long as we have these new characters being introduced, it's really important, because of course we lost a lot of our old characters. And as your original question about whether I minded Silas' storyline, because we didn't see him really last season, we talked about him over and over again, but because he wasn't there, I'm really excited he's here. And especially for the first couple episodes when we didn't have Stefan, I wanted to see the actor on screen. So that was helpful.
So Elena has the red strip in her hair. How are they going to keep the two Stefan doppelgangers separate? Like, are they going to dye a corner of his hair blue? Like, I'm super excited to see how that separation turns out.
I think the face. Honestly, the facial expression, you can tell it's not Stefan when Silas is being Silas. He has this like stone cold look on his face. But then again, we got reintroduced to Stefan, and he's not looking so hot himself right now. So
he's going to be in Ripper stage. But let's talk about Silas's mission. Now, I kind of feel like the fact that he's still after Catherine kind of has to do with perhaps the cure doesn't really digest into her system. Maybe it's like an organ in her system that can be ripped out. Or how do you guys feel about that?
That's exactly what I said last week when we were talking about why he's been chasing her. But honestly, she said she's been running for 500 years. So of course it would have to be something more than that to start. I do think that's added incentive right now. I think she has the cure inside of her. And just like when she was talking about last week, how she didn't know whether she could turn into a vampire, because is she really alive? Is she really dead? She knows she has a cure, so she's human, but she doesn't want to take the risk and try to turn into a vampire because she might be really dead. I think that means that part of the cure probably does stay inside her, and he is after that, but he's got to be after something more, considering even tonight she mentions that she's been running for him for all this time.
She just hasn't been in good company her entire life. She was running from what we assume is Silas. She's been running from Klaus. She doesn't get off on the right foot with anybody, and I really liked this episode.
I did too.
Where Jeremy said, you're more of an object to people than you are a person. Because of the way she says, I want to survive, so I turn my back, I never look back. Now she's not doing that. So I feel like she's going to become a real player, and this whole cure thing is going to become a bigger thing where, yeah, we hate Catherine. She's not a good person. She tries to kill people all the time. But as we unveil more layers of her in her human state, maybe we'll protect her more.
Yeah, and if Jeremy can get over Damon trying to kill him multiple times, you know, then I think we can all have a heart for Elena or for
You just can't
Catherine
take this kind of stuff personally, T.
I mean, you try to kill me. I still love you, Roxy.
It just happens, you know?
Happens
Let's
sometimes.
put it under the rug.
Sometimes I want to slit your throat, but then it's cool, you know? Whatever. Yeah.
But you notice how easily they get over everything. Like, even with Elena and Damon, she's like, even when we find Stefan, I'll still love you. Like, you had no remorse. You broke that boy's heart. You let him drown drown in a lake for 3 months.
Okay, yeah, but she let him drown in the lake. That's a little intense to say.
I want to mention a comment we got on the YouTube last week. It was Sigana says, I think Elena is a nasty bee for the simple fact that she slept with both brothers, and for me, that is just nasty. I could have found someone not related, not doing exactly what Catherine did. Damon has no redeeming qualities at all. Granted, he's hot, but that's about it. And another person in Bonnie's family gets killed. She's dead, so why don't they take her off the show? Because it might be in my head, but the writers seem to not like her until she has to save Elena. I really liked that comment. I think that they had a lot of good points there.
I think Damon has redeeming qualities to Elena, and I do not think what I was saying was I think that you loved Stefan so insanely.
You as in Elena.
Elena, yeah, but like she loved Stefan so intense and so head over heels, and then so quickly switched to Damon. Not quickly, but switched to Damon, and doesn't seem to look back at all. And that's where I'm confused, because I feel like your first love and a love that strong would never go away.
But remember, there was that whole thing. She felt like she met Stefan first, and Stefan saved her. And yes, that's true, but once she was not compelled anymore, she remembered meeting Damon first, and she remembered all of that.
Yeah.
And honestly, even when she did love Stefan so much, you could tell she loved Damon. It was inside her. And I did appreciate that she said that to him tonight. Like, we're going to find him, and I'm going to still love you. I love you. We're going to find him, and we're going to love you. But yeah, of course it's a plan, and of course it's not going to go according to plan. But I did appreciate that she's at least trying to reassure him, realizing that this is a difficult situation for both brothers.
I like how he said, but it still sucks.
Yeah, but it still sucks. But it still sucks that you're dreaming about him. I really like what Jesse said to Caroline in that moment, how he said, you go to college and you have those relationships that meant something before, and sometimes you change, but that doesn't mean you didn't have something special with that person. And I really like that we're in college, and that kind of dealt with like all the relationships, like Elena with Stefan, and Caroline with Tyler. I mean, are you guys so over Tyler? Is he completely off the show?
He's
not coming back. He's not getting any more sex, that's for sure.
Okay, well,
said by Caroline.
So she says. I mean,
I love Tyler. I really do. I think he's a great character. I never loved him with Caroline. I thought they were okay. I'm a Caroline Klaus person.
Me too.
So what I really don't want to see happen is them introduce another love story for Caroline, because I want her with Klaus.
But
I didn't mind her with Tyler. Yeah, I get that. But I do think that you would have to, if you watch the show and you think that Jesse is 100% a good guy, you would have to be naive. There's no way in hell this is just a good boy who knows nothing. I think he is playing her right now, playing to her soft side. He knows something more about her. He knows something more about this, and I've got my eye on you. Like,
and
I'm watching
all the
you like
black people on the show end up being witches and warlocks. I'm just being honest.
But maybe that is what they're doing to us, though. We meet new people. We assume they have something to do with it. We assume they have an ulterior motive. So with Jesse, I think the same thing. I think there's something about him, or he knows something, but halfway through the season, it could be that he really is just a normal guy, and we're just
yeah. Well, he did have that like piece of wood that looked like a wooden
steak.
He was
like steak, Elena.
He took Elena alone to go get more wood. That was
first off, girl. It's your first week in college. Do not go into a random woods to get wood with a man,
especially when it's like the thing that a stake to the heart can kill you.
I just imagine. Can you imagine your first week, your freshman year, like some guy being like, "Yo, do you want to go by yourself down this long into the woods to grab a pile of wood for the fire?"
I've done that.
Yes.
Don't do it.
Oh my God. Jeez. At least you live to tell the tale.
I guess Elena's not like us. We're in the fact she's a vampire, so she can protect herself. But girls at home, don't do that when you get to college.
At least take mace.
Yeah, take mace.
Or vervain, depending on what you're afraid of.
Steak.
Yeah.
Take a friend.
Piggybacking, though, off that comment, though, the one thing that I don't agree with is the Bonnie thing. I don't think because her family's dead, they would write her off, because for most of this series, her family hasn't really been relevant. Her Grams was, but then her Grams died, and then we brought her back, and then we met the mom, but they've never been like Caroline's mom.
Although I agree with you, but to play devil's advocate, I was reading a lot of our iTunes and YouTube comments, and just on every blog and whatever, and people are getting bored of Bonnie's character. People are upset with the role that she's playing right now, and like she never has any of her own storylines, and she's always supporting other people's storylines and helping them to progress, and I kind of agree. I think that it's nice that she is able to bring us to certain places because of what she represents, but I would like to see her have a storyline, but it's very difficult because she's dead.
Yeah, she is
So
dead.
there's that.
She's dead.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with, the actress herself, Kat Graham, just being with her other projects, with her music and everything like that. And it's sad because it does kind of make you over it, because it's like, how many times can she die and come back? And how many times can she be in these situations where you don't see her for 5 weeks and then she pops back in and saves the day and then she disappears again?
But do you feel like they're writing her off, though? Because I feel like she's been a strong character the first 2 episodes.
I don't think they're writing her off, but I think that it's just something that's been going on the past few seasons. She just hasn't, they don't have anything significant for her to do. So they just bring her in when they need it.
Yeah, but my question just is, where's the clear exit for her? Because until
when she dies.
But she is dead.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it came and it left.
Yeah, so that's where I'm confused, is where I don't see her completely leaving this show. I still see her being that supporting person who gets them through things.
The exit would be her sitting Jeremy down, say exactly what Jeremy's other ex did to her. We can't do this anymore for your sake. I need to move on to the other world and not be in this in-between place on the other side. And goodbye.
Is it one of those things where she said, I need to start accepting that I'm dead? When she accepts that she's dead, does she go?
I think she's an exception to all rules.
Yeah.
Because I think she's using her magic, because she used, the dark magic, and it's also confusing.
There's so many
Vampire
rules.
Diaries. You write your own rules.
Right, they make up rules as they go along, and I said that even tonight's episode when we see that Jeremy is, at some points, Jeremy's able to see Bonnie, but then when Matt's on the other side and Matt's screaming out for Jeremy, and Jeremy can't see him, but he can see dead people, they sometimes I think they make things up sometimes in order to support their story.
Yeah, is it like
fair enough though?
The people who are only dead for a little while you can't see, but the people who are dead, you can see.
I would like to see a rule book on this. Show me the rules.
We need to find one.
But I did like that we finally found out what happens to these people when they die with the ring gone tonight.
That was interesting.
I love that.
Every time you die, you move further and further away from your body, and that's why it takes them longer and longer to come back, because, we saw it a lot with Alaric. It was like, man, it's taking you a while to come back now, I thought it was old age.
But wouldn't that mean that at some point, because we see that at some point the ring stops working, wouldn't that mean that maybe it's not stopped working? Maybe you're just in China? And it's going to take you a lot longer to get there.
To find it.
You got to find a boat.
Yeah, and then you kind of go crazy at one point. Like Alaric went crazy. So that ring's not really, it's one of those things like in every show with magic they say it comes with a price.
Yeah.
Magic always comes with something. And with this, it comes with being really far from your body and turning into a crazy person.
It's definitely a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
And I wish that he could remember his conversation with Bonnie just to help everyone out. Because
I was surprised that Bonnie didn't tell Jeremy that she had that conversation with Matt.
Well, she did kind of allude to the fact that I think
she wasn't ready.
That she's not ready yet. And I think she will tell Jeremy when she's ready. And I don't think she had to go over the whole scenario with the Matt thing. I think just her saying that acknowledges the fact that she is addressing the issue, because it's weird.
Yeah, maybe once she tells Jeremy to explain to everyone she's dead, maybe that's kind of her accepting her death. I don't know. But I want to remind the fans at home that you can support AfterBuzz by downloading, rating, and commenting on our show. You can call into the conversation at 424-256-1729. We had some awesome comments. I wanted to just read a few. Crazy Chick says, "Yay, you guys are back. Are you doing the originals?" And yes.
And yes, we are.
We are. And they reviewed it, and it's up on YouTube and iTunes right now. They reviewed this week's episode.
So right now we're in limbo. We filled that one on Tuesday. We might be switching to Thursday. We'll definitely keep you guys posted, but 100% we are doing the originals.
Yes, we will be back next week for sure.
And Aaron Markel said, human Elena likes Stefan, and vampire Elena likes Stefan.
Yeah, I think that's true.
It seems to be that way.
Yeah, that's the way it went down.
So now that the opposite of Catherine, she's human, maybe she likes Stefan when he's not the Ripper.
Or she might like him like a Ripper.
Yeah, she still might be into that.
Catherine's
she's
pretty
a
tough.
freak.
Yeah, she's a tough
Total
girl.
freak.
She's a total freak. Come on.
Yeah.
She's into
Right.
that.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, rip me.
Says the witch over there.
Because I'm black, I gotta be a witch.
Exactly.
Damn.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys.
Talking about, though, which you guys thought that Jessie might be a witch, do you guys I know you like Klaus and Caroline. Do you want Caroline to go ahead and try with this Jesse guy? He seems to be really understanding about exes.
How convenient that he understands.
I kind of fell for him for a minute.
I like him. I think he could be a great rebound. Every girl needs a rebound after a long-term relationship. So
Preach it, girl.
Jesse can be that. I don't want her to be with Jesse, but I think a little sexual tension and stuff would be nice.
And they need to set ground rules for what's going to happen in the dorm.
Yeah, oh God.
No tying up of the boyfriend.
And no stabbing in the leg.
With the blow poke.
Yeah, I know.
That instrument, that tool is called a blow poke. I wrote a short about it, and not a lot of people know what that is called that you poke a fire with, but it is called a blow poke.
Why do they have those in the
Now you know.
You know.
I am very into Caroline moving over to the originals.
I agree with that.
I'm ready for her to leave the show. Again, I mentioned this last week. I'm going to mention it again. The logline of this show is one girl stuck between two guys that she's in love with both. That's the premise of this show. Both the brothers in love with one girl somewhat in love with both of them, and whatever that means. Like Bonnie and Caroline and Matt and all these other players, they're all supporting players, and I do love them, and I have grown attachments to them, but I haven't grown attached to them at all in the way that I'm attached to the three main characters. I think that Caroline would be better served on the originals, and I do think there are a lot of Caroline Klaus fans out there.
I do. I think that Haley will have to die in like childbirth in order for Klaus to invite Caroline over to the originals, but you know, she's always wanted to be a princess, so it makes total sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But if that is not to happen, here's my other thing with that logline, though. That could mean anything between Damon and Stefan and Catherine, or Damon and Stefan and Elena.
Right.
So for all intents and purposes, it could be either Catherine or Elena we're talking about. Granted, both of them I think are around to stay. If anybody's going to leave, it's going to be Catherine, because she's human now. And
yeah, but there's no way.
Is Catherine more attractive now that she's vulnerable?
No, I thought she was really hot when she was a vampire. I mean, she was so fierce.
I think she's kind of hot now. Like, do you see her with her little bitchy tone, and her hair is like a mess, and she is the definition of a hot mess.
And she has a cold.
Chick's a hot mess.
Know what to do.
She's like, I didn't think I'd die of a sinus infection. I want to be like, you're not dying.
Yeah,
like, you're not dying. You have a cold.
You know, she could totally rock that grungy look right now. Get her a pair of combat boots and like a little
flannel.
Yeah, and she could. Oh my God, she'd be a hottie. I mean, Nina's just really hot, so she looks hot all the time. But
I love all these different looks she can pull
and
off.
the different personalities. Actress is killing it.
Yeah, she really is.
And it has to be fun for her to be able to play both roles and get to be that fun.
And it's interesting because always they're bitching about their characters, and he's like, oh, Stefan's so annoying to play. He's always the same. At least this season they're switching it up. But, you know, she gets to mess around all the time. She gets to go into work, and in one day she can be two different people completely. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And I feel like actors really enjoy playing the bad guy a lot because it's more fun to be.
You want to be the villain.
Yeah, you want to be that person because it's not good to be that way in real life. So why not play it? I don't know. I like it.
I never seek revenge in real life because I'm Catholic, but I love vengeful.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you can't seek revenge, but like. I love watching revenge films. It's my favorite because you know you get what
you're looking for.
Yeah, you get that justice is served.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the show and justice being served, I really think that they're serving justice to Jeremy's character this season. Not only is he a hunter, but he works out.
Yeah.
I mean, I love when shows can poke fun of themselves a little bit. It was only a matter of time before they mentioned that Jeremy is clearly ripped. Like,
huge.
He went from being a scrawny younger boy that we looked at as Elena's little brother to being this sexy, ripped man that I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, when did Jeremy grow up? I have feelings right now that I'm not sure are appropriate.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
You and Bonnie both, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he still has the baby face. Like, he still has a cute boy face, but his body, and when you see him fighting in those scenes, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. I like that.
I wonder.
Okay, action hero.
Like, he's bigger than Stefan. Like, he was so much bigger than, Silas in this episode.
Do you think that that was an actor choice, or the show asked him to? Do you think he one day was like, I want to be big, this is the type of character I'm going to want to play? Or were they like, this is where we want to see your character going, get to the gym?
I think it was probably a combination of both. I think as he was growing older, he's on a show with people like Damon and Stefan, and they're all big and ripped, and they're not huge, but they're bulky, and he was the younger brother. And now that he's growing up, he's a hunter. It makes sense that his
character would.
You know what? We're going to probably be able to ask him that question because I think he's coming in to talk to us.
That would be amazing.
So,
and I'm going to curl my hair that day.
Rumor has it. And I'm going to sit next to him and stroke his bicep.
And I'm going to borrow your lipstick again.
I'm just going to sneak in the studio while you guys are doing the show. Like, oh, hey.
You can be on the couch.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
All right, and I really like how they're moving Matt's character up to be the useful, superhuman character. I mean, they're putting travelers in his body, and he's not exactly just human anymore.
Because he could have been gone a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah, but I love that, again, with the humor, and he's like, you can't speak, you can't move your lips, and he's like, that's weird because I can't. And then just yell. Like, I love when they put some humor in the show. And unlike Caroline's character or Bonnie's character, where I feel like they only have the ends to a means or something like that, I really do like Matt's character, and I think that he is strong, and he's our token human, and we need him.
Yeah, he's like the only one left.
He needs to do something for Team Human, and I think he did this episode, showing up and finding Catherine in the beginning. So,
and then Catherine having his back.
Yeah,
I really liked that. That's why I said earlier in this after show that I think she's becoming more of a person that they care about, because she, whatever Jeremy said to her resonated with her, and she turned around and she saved them and put herself at risk when she knows Silas wants her, and Silas could have easily gotten her, and if she didn't have the gun.
She's learning, she was never a human before. Someone needs to kind of teach her. They always taught them how to be a vampire when someone switched, but no one really is helping her be a human and teaching her. So it's nice that Jeremy kind of fills that brotherly role and like teaching her, and he puts the blanket on her and comforts her. I feel like he's definitely going to show her the ropes of being human, but she's very neurotic. I feel like she'd get along with Caroline.
Absolutely. Friends.
This show is all about it's never too late to change, you know? They never look at a character and write them off completely. So I do think that people are starting to look at Catherine and realizing it's never too late to change, just the way they did with all of the originals. And, maybe even Klaus one day, although it might be too late for him.
But I think part of why the push for her to change is that she needs these people now. She's never needed anyone because she's been a vampire. She could outrun everyone on her own. She even came to Damon, like, hey, I need help. I need protection because I have enemies out there. So while I respect her for coming back and changing her life a little bit, part of me still like, but you're doing it out of necessity.
Right.
Like, as opposed to your own free will.
Right.
I kind of thought that Damon would find that vulnerability attractive because I felt like that's how he kind of liked Elena at first.
I don't know. I feel like also with her, it's less... I know she's vulnerable right now, but she's still the same Catherine, and she's solely there to save herself. And that's what I think puts it differently than Elena, where Elena wasn't with them to save herself. If anything, she would have given herself up to save her friends and to save her brother, whereas Catherine wouldn't do that.
I also think we're very loosely using this term vulnerable. I mean, we did see her tonight's episode take a woman and beat her face in.
After getting
she's
made.
still the same person.
Yeah.
She's only when she needs to be.
Right.
In certain aspects, she's vulnerable because she doesn't have these powers, but when she's up against another human, she's still willing to kick their butt.
Exactly.
And we also have to address the fact that now that she's a human, she doesn't have her humanity switch. So before, when she was Catherine, she probably had her humanity shut off. She didn't care. She didn't feel what people were feeling. She didn't want to feel what she was feeling. So now that she's not a vampire, she doesn't have that option.
It's all rushing back. That's a really good point.
So now she has emotions and she has feelings and a conscience, whereas she didn't before.
Right. I also want to bring up, because a lot of our fans were talking about this online, or fans of the show, something we haven't mentioned is when you kill somebody, does it kill the whole bloodline? So if they end up killing Silas, does it kill all vampires?
Yes.
One of writing their rules again.
So, if you kill an original, it supposedly kills the whole bloodline. And if you kill Silas, does it kill all of the originals, which kills the entire vampire community?
I think so, and I think they're not looking to kill him, like the Traveler said at the end of this episode. We want you back in that tomb. We don't want to kill him. We want to put him back in there where he can suffer.
Well, would it be
can't
possible to kill him? Yeah.
Well, at this point, they don't know how to kill him.
No, he said he's immortal.
Right.
So
they just want him back in the tomb.
The only
All right. Okay. So just wanted to clarify that.
But you need a witch to do that, and Bonnie's dead.
Yeah, but
And all the other witches are in New Orleans on the original.
Nobody says we can't, intertwine the shows once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I mean, hey, Jesse's here. He's black. He's probably a witch. Just saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about
And his eyes. Oh my God, just have to
he
stop
has
for a
really
second.
gorgeous eyes.
yeah.
They were like that gray green that you just want to die for.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I
Like
think
your
that's the
sweater
point.
almost.
Yeah.
I knew that we were going to see his eyes tonight.
I bet.
Talking about the third roommate, Megan's death, we kind of like flew over that. But
Megan who?
yeah, right. She was kind of in, and then she was gone. But she does have that picture with Elena's dad on her phone, and we meet Dr. Maxfield, who apparently is part of this secret society
He's a
that
big jerk.
meets once a week at a house. What do you guys? I feel like Elena was slightly attracted to him. Like,
She
what's
did. She
going
said he was
on
a
there?
hottie.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think he is a vampire or a vampire killer. I think he just knows a lot about him.
I mean, I think it's weird because somehow these stories are intertwined with Megan, with Elena's father, with the professor, and with Jesse, is my theory. So, who put vervain in the water? That was Megan's. How is she related? How's the professor related to that? Does he just have a lot of knowledge, or is he scared that somebody's hunting him down? Either Jesse or the professor, one of them is hunting and one of them is being hunted, I believe.
my big
That's a good
question.
point.
Yeah, my big question with Megan too is that she had a picture with Elena's dad, and she still looked the same age.
That's what I thought
But she
too.
was drinking vervain. So what are you that you can stay that young and not be a vampire?
Maybe she wasn't. Well, no,
No.
she was killed by a
Super-
vampire.
Yeah.
Doppelganger?
Doppelganger.
She could be.
No, not
Yeah.
she. I'm talking about Elena's dad.
Oh.
Something, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't Elena's dad.
Or maybe, I mean, maybe he's not really dead. I mean,
Right.
people, stranger things have happened
Yeah.
on the
This
show.
is true. We've had lots of
That
people
is-
come back from the dead.
Very valid statement.
I just don't like the professor very much, Dr. Maxfield, and I think he's rude. One.
And we don't stand for that here.
We
okay?
don't. But,
Manners.
but he knows Elena knows that he forged that, that
Death
death certificate.
But he's not scared about it.
But he's not scared about it. So that's why I think he knows about vampires. He knows what's going on, but I still don't know if he knows Elena is one or if she's just aware of it.
But why would she have called attention to the fact that she knew that he forged it?
I don't know.
Because it makes her seem like a target. She didn't want anybody to know she's a vampire, and obviously if she knew that he forged it, it means that she knew what a vampire bite was, which means that at least she knows what a vampire is. It's causing too much attention.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe what was her dad's research that he,
Right, like, was it about
vampires? And then, at this point, she'd been through so much in that day that I think Elena was just like, you know what, I'm going to come out and just be honest. Maybe I'll get an answer
point.
that way, as opposed to playing the game, because every time they play the game, they get screwed over in some way. Damon didn't want to tell Elena about Silas being back and Jeremy getting expelled, and that came back to bite them in the butt. And it's just like, maybe one time if I try just putting it out there, then things will work better in our favor.
Remember when Elena found all of that equipment though in the closet and found out that they were hunters, that her parents didn't like vampires?
Because they were part of the council.
Right, because they were part of it. She seemed shocked, so I'm pretty sure that's not what he studied, because I think she would have known what he was a teacher for.
But maybe he had different studies. Like maybe he studied one thing.
Maybe
that
it was
his family knew
anthropology
about,
in general
and then
or
he
something.
also studied vampires, and that's why I think he doesn't know Elena is a vampire. I think he believes she knows about vampires because of what her father did, but she doesn't. She isn't one.
Basically, we
But
have
she-
another, like, Alaric.
But the point is, she didn't know about vampires because of what her father did.
No, she didn't. But
But
he
you
doesn't
think
know.
I'm
he's assuming
assuming
that.
he doesn't know that she doesn't know.
I like that we actually.
But we
She doesn't
know.
We know that.
And now you know.
And thus that is Vampire Diaries. It's like everyone knows something without other people knowing.
Yeah, it's awful.
I like that we actually got to see them in a college class and get embarrassed because we can all relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
I missed college.
I was one of those talking girls in class.
Who wasn't?
Chatty girl gets called on.
Chatty girl in the back with brown hair. That's my name.
Did he know that was Elena? He knew it was Elena from the get-go because he knew they were freshmen and weren't supposed to be in his class, and he
Right.
had their names.
I don't know if that's what it was. I know that outside somebody called her Elena, and he was like, "Is Gilbert, as in your father,
is
was?"
that what happened? Oh, okay.
So, but I don't know.
Something like
Maybe he
that.
knew in the classroom. I mean, I think he knows a lot more than we're thinking he knows right now. But
Yeah.
but I don't know what he knows. What you know, what they know. So.
Of Whitmore. They always know too
Yeah.
much. Is there any other points you guys wanted to throw out there before we roll into predictions?
I don't know. I mean, I just think there's so... Well, real quickly, I guess Stefan, he's out. And
Yep.
And I want to know why the thing was not in the quarry. They said they found it away from the quarry.
That's a good
They did
point.
say that.
They
Wait,
did
what are
say
you talking
that.
about?
You know what?
The safe.
The safe that Stefan was in. They said we didn't find anything in the quarry, but we found something a little bit away from the quarry. So wasn't he supposed to be drowning? How did he get out of the quarry? Was he just drowning in the safe? Like, was there just water in the safe?
Maybe once he gave in to his Ripper status, he was able to get out.
Here's my
he was
theory.
holding on to his humanity.
Whoever found him helped him out, and there were probably two people. One of them, he said, "You'll forget this, run away," and whatever the other one he ate and put inside or something.
Yeah. I don't know if there was two. I think he's definitely in Ripper status, and I think obviously we'll see that next week, and anyone in his way is going to be taken down.
Yeah, the reason I said two is because somehow the sheriff had to find out.
Well, she said, yeah, one of my guys said that we found this. And so, but the original guy could have found it. Stefan killed him, put him in there, and then another guy could have found it. And
Yeah.
like, I don't know, but I don't necessarily know if he's in Ripper status because he fought off shutting off his humanity for so long in the first episode and what we presume at the beginning of this episode. I don't know why he would do it the minute he got out. I think he's just hungry and he needs actual human blood because he has been in there for months.
No, I think he's in Ripper status, and I think that the way I could back that up is the dream that we see in tonight's episode, or the connection between Elena and Stefan. We see Elena is drowning and spitting up water, and I think that was him saying, like, the hope of Elena and the hope of not becoming a Ripper was being so far suppressed, and he was flipping the switch.
Okay.
But I don't. That's a theory.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all theories. We have no idea.
Let's go ahead and roll into predictions. Okay, what do you guys want to see this season?
Oh, so these are hopes, not predictions.
I mean, we kind of just talked about what we thought next episode was going to be.
Damon with his shirt on.
Oh wait, that happened tonight.
A dream.
I don't think we're gonna see another Ripper thing where we're like fighting to get Stefan back to being himself. I think
That's what I don't want to see.
I don't want to see that, and I don't think we will because we dedicated a lot of time to that already. I think he might go Ripper for a bit, and then he'll reel it in.
See, I'm kind of on your page where I don't or Paige. But I don't really think that he's in full Ripper status because we just came from that. So I don't see them putting him back there. But I think he comes out, he's really hungry. Maybe he has a lapse of like, this is what I need, but it's not a full Ripper.
He was headed to the bar.
But I mean, after he did
drink.
that, he could have, done what he used to do, just drink the blood and then compel them not to remember.
I'm really nervous that we're
kill people.
I think we're going to see a season of Ripper, even though it's what I don't want, because all that was talked about, the actor kept saying how he was so excited that his character had something different this season, so excited to be mean and aggressive like how Damon usually is. So I don't think it's just going to be a couple episodes. I think it's going to be a few more than that. But you never know. Could just be
anger towards Elena. Could just be like, screw you, girl.
And I took that as maybe being like, because he gets to play Silas.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like the Damon
true
role.
too.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like,
Good point.
that he gets to actually play a different role than his usual, like, puppy
valid.
dog self.
Very valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the Travelers, Gypsies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope there's more mysterious creatures. I like that they're in Matt. I like that we're using Matt more.
And it's interesting that you can one person can be in your brain at one time.
Yeah.
So when somebody occupies your brain, so I think that they'll find a way to use that.
And what are the Travelers? Are they vampires? Are they something else?
They're gypsies.
We didn't even ask, what is Nadia's plan?
Yeah.
What's Nadia's plan?
We don't know.
We don't know.
And did she know Matt before she met him?
She had
a threesome with him.
Yeah, she had the threesome with him.
So she knows him a little bit.
She knows him quite well. But, was that her plan all along to have the threesome and then follow him back to the
I think so, too.
No, because she was surprised when she got the ring and said, I took something that didn't belong to me.
Oh, she knew what she was doing.
I don't know.
Bitches always do. Hey, guys. You can check out my blog at Cinematic Escape, or you can follow me on Twitter and continue this awesome conversation and tweet me at Cinematic Escape. Where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiana Hobson. You can also catch me on AfterBuzz TV's Parenthood, Castle, Once Upon a Time, and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland shows.
Woo! You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Sull, that's SULL, and you can also find me on Castle with Tiana and on my blog, perfectpage.com.
I'm at Roxy Striar, and right after this, I'm doing Glee, so stay tuned for that.
Nice. And we will see you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.